My name is Starimus, and today I will be reviewing one of the Transformers model kits produced by Flame Toys. Not Starscream. Let me just move him out of the way. Shattered Glass Drift is the bot I will be assembling. Here's the box that Drift calls home. His box art is quite nice. I like it a lot. And if the art is any indication of the model, which it usually is, he should have a decent level of detail on him. When we open up the box, we find the assembly manual right at the top. Under the manual are all of our pieces, organized into sets by a letter and number code and by color. All of these kits come with the pieces already in the different colors of the character, so no painting is required. We also have a sticker sheet packed in with the assembly manual for all those fine little details, including the faction symbols. Let's take a look at the assembly manual. The top of the first page has a breakdown of all the pieces, so you can make sure that everything is accounted for. Below that are the first steps of the assembly. The steps are broken down into units, beginning with the head. Each diagram shows the letter and number given to each piece required and has the pieces arranged in the way they are meant to fit together. Supposedly. The back of the manual features 3 dynamic poses to display the range of motion this model should have, as well as instructions for how to remove the model pieces from their gates. A nipper or cutter tool is recommended, but I just use a box cutter, which I find works great. Here we have our little mountain of parts. For the eye and light pieces, they use a nice translucent plastic to catch a little bit of light and contrast with all of the opaque pieces. Most of the small pieces can be removed from their gates simply by rolling them around a few times. Whenever you can't do this, use the tool. No matter your tool of choice, always practice safe handling. If you use a box cutter, always cut away from yourself when using a lot of pressure, such as while cutting through these gates. One issue that I have with these models is that while they look great once put together, they usually have a lot of tiny pieces that can be hard to see and handle during assembly. This isn't something that Flame Toys can be entirely faulted for though, because it's just a fact of engineering a detailed model at this scale, but it is something to keep in mind when you're considering buying them. I've got pretty small fingers myself, but I still need to use pliers to help me handle some of the tiny pieces better. I like to assume the best, so we'll start with a 5-star rating and take stars off throughout the assembly in accordance with any issues that arise. One reason why I definitely recommend using a box cutter for your model kits is to deal with the leftover gate pieces that you'll often see on your pieces after removing them from the gates. With just a little pressure and a slow cutting motion, a box cutter will shear those leftover pieces right off and leave you with a clean edge that will make your pieces easier to put together and make your finished model look better. If you don't care for the time lapse and just want my notes about this model, I have included chapters on this video. These pieces for the arms were very difficult to get on. These are the connection points for the hands. This is the first out of a handful of model kits that has given me trouble with these, but it wasn't the worst, so I'm only gonna dock 1/4 of a star for that. These fists were the absolute worst to try to figure out how to assemble. I've left this all in so you can see just how much I struggled with them. The instructions were not helpful. I think the 3-piece form was unnecessary. It seems like it shouldn't have been hard to make them the same way as the other model kits fists that I've put together. I gotta take a full star for how ridiculous and painful these were to get done. The pieces with the Autobot insignia on them would not stop wiggling and falling out of the spot where the instructions say to put them, so I had to ignore the instructions again to get them to stay while connecting the pauldron pieces. Another 1/4 star for that. These tiny, translucent purple pieces are another headache. Not only are they small and flat, but they do not fit in the corresponding spaces in the chest piece. Instead of slotting snugly into the holes like you'd think they would, they sort of just rest on them, slightly lopsided. It's not enough to notice at a first glance on the finished model, but it's enough of an irritancy for me to pull half a star for it. Plus, they fall out later while I'm dealing with another issue. The leg units were very annoying to assemble due to how many pieces needed to stay in place while putting those red side pieces together. The first one went fairly smoothly, but the second one had an alignment issue between one of the pieces, and it took me so long to figure out which one it was, and even once I saw what the issue was, it was impossible to correct without shaving off bits of the piece, and so I had to settle for just trying to brute force the pieces together, with the other pieces continually falling out of their notches the whole time. This kit could just be a fluke from a bad batch, so I'll only take off half a star for this instead of a full one. The stickers for this model were particularly annoying to apply. First of all, the instructions say to apply them during points of the main assembly that make it harder than if you were to apply them after the individual unit assemblies. You'll see here that Drift's head pops off while I'm trying to get an angle at which I can apply these tiny stickers to it, when I could have just applied the stickers once the head was done before I connected it to the chest and shoulders, which were the parts that kept getting in my way. And because you can't put the neck pieces together and then put the head back on the joint, I'm taking a half star for making me disassemble the chest when it could have been entirely avoidable by just having the sticker application instructions be in a reasonable order. One star. This is the absolute worst model kit I have assembled today. I put his weapons together fine, but halfway through the stickers, I just gave up and called him finished. There are so many tiny stickers, they're hard to find on the sticker sheet, hard to apply to the model, and mostly are hardly even noticeable from a foot away. The instructions are also overcrowded and convoluted, which made it even less appealing to finish the stickers. So I didn't. His weapons do look pretty cool, and he looks nice once he decides to stay in one piece, so I'll let him keep his last star for that. But overall, Drift is most definitely not worth the $40-something I paid for him. You would have to pay me to get me to assemble this kit again. The final thing I want to do before I end this video is give you guys a quick comparison to the other two Flame Toy model kits that I've assembled. which are the G1 Optimus Prime and IDW Megatron Autobot version, just so you can understand where I'm coming from. And magically, I am no longer sick. Optimus is definitely the most simple looking of the models that I've put together so far. However, he's not the best. His head has come off a couple of times, but you don't have to disassemble anything to just pop it right back on. Which I don't understand why they couldn't do for Drift, but they didn't. His hands are also a lot easier to snap on and off for some reason. It feels a lot less dangerous to handle Optimus compared to this Drift, because Optimus never exploded while I was trying to put him together, and there are only ever two pieces that occasionally fall off while trying to pose him, and that would be these pieces. They're supposed to bend up like so. These front pieces here have never fallen off during posing because they're actually secured with a ball joint, whereas these ones, move your arm, these ones are just sort of stuck in there. They are pushed up a little too far. The back piece here separates from the midsection, and you have to push them back together, otherwise these will come right off. And that has happened to me several times mid-posing. These front pieces here, as you can probably see, are just very wiggly, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I like that they don't pop off. Now, very unlike Drift, Optimus here only has 4 stickers. The clearance light stickers like to slide around a little bit, and the Autobot logos are those stickers. My overall rating for this model, I'd give it a 4.5 stars out of 5. He's perfect. IDW Megatron, who likes to fall over sometimes. He looks amazing. He poses amazing. He went together amazing. No issues off the top of my head that I can remember that I had with him. He has more than 4 stickers, but it's way less than 75. 75 is ridiculous. Megatron is my 5-star model kit. He was the easiest to put together. He has an appropriate amount of stickers that are actually visible and look good and don't try to escape being stuck to the model. And there is not a single piece on Megatron that I worry about when I'm trying to pose him. He's so easy to pose, straightforward, easy. I never misread anything, nothing was confusing. The instructions for applying the stickers were in a reasonable order. They made sense, they weren't convoluted. Yeah, he's my favorite. As far as model kits go, I've been commandeered by my own cat. That is the end of my review of the Shattered Glass Flame Toys Drift model kit. He looks nice, but I can't pose him. I can't bring myself to try to do it because I'm so afraid that he's just gonna explode again. If you want to know early what my current video progress is and what it's about, you can follow me on X or on Instagram. And that's going to do it for this video. I look forward to seeing you in my next one, be it another model kit review or perhaps something a little different. Oh. Thank you, Scoopy. What is the opposite of dismantling? Mantling? Assembly. Scoopy wants to be a part of the video too. What is your opinion, Scoopy? She doesn't seem very impressed with him either. More interested. What about the best one, Scoopy? What do you think? Just okay? You are allowed to have your own opinion, Scoopy. The end of my review of this guy. Friendly reminder that Optimus Prime supports your Second Amendment right. You want on the shoulder? Is that what you want? Okay. Scouts aren't. It's okay, I'm allowed to do that because I was a Girl Scout. Back when they were actually girls. Can't say that.